Hey everyone, welcome to the first 5 video of the Mindworx program. This is a little teaser into the program if you want to check it out. This is the first exercise. And the purpose of this exercise is to start building the mind-body connection. This is the very first step, very simple, easy for some, might not be easy for everybody. For me, when I started this whole journey, this step was actually very challenging. The idea is we want to sit still for 5 minutes and not move a muscle. Don't adjust in your seat, don't scratch an itch, you might want to swallow if like saliva builds up, that's okay. But we don't want to move for 5 minutes. And then if you do this well, go on to 10 minutes. For now, we're going to start with 5. The reason we do this is to start mastering our bodies and having control over what our body is doing. After that, we dive into the mind, and the Mindworx process builds up the skill of doing Mindworx. And eventually, it's like driving a car, you just kind of do all the things. But you kind of start piece by piece by piece by piece. And you learn all the skills individually, and then we put them all together. First 5 is the first step where we learn how to just sit still and not move. And this is important to master our bodies and start building the mind-body connection, of which most of us are disconnected from. Most of us are very disconnected from our bodies. And that's what trauma does to us. Trauma disconnects our minds from our bodies. Thinking disconnects our minds from our bodies. If we're in our head all the time, we're disconnected from our intuition, from our gut feelings, from our feelings, and from our instincts. And we want to build our intuition. Building our intuition is what makes us live a more authentic life. And that will make us live a more happier life because we're being true to ourselves instead of true to somebody else or some false self. So let's begin now with first 5. We're going to just not move for 5 minutes. And that's just the goal. So sit somewhere that you will not be bothered. If you'd like to put on some noise canceling headphones or something to kind of drown out some noise, but the main thing here is we're focusing on the body. Don't worry about what the mind is doing. Don't worry about what all other meditation programs tell you, which is focus on your breath, quiet the mind. Don't worry about that. In no part of the Mindworx process do we even do that. We do not want to quiet the mind. We want to use the mind as a tool to dive into the subconscious and to bring things up. So don't worry about the mind, let it run. We want it to run. In phase 2, in step 2, which is not part of this video, but in step 2 of the process, we actually use that to our advantage. For now, we're just focusing on the body and not moving. So again, don't worry about the breath. Don't worry about quieting the mind or the thoughts. Think about whatever you want. Doesn't matter. We're just going to do 5 minutes of not moving. Here we go. Go ahead and get seated, get comfortable. Back straight, sit up straight, have good posture. You might collapse down. Every exhale, you might collapse down a little bit. Try to keep yourself up straight, especially on your exhales. If you can feel yourself pulling yourself up a little bit with every exhale so you don't collapse down, that's good too. It's a good way to keep good posture. So 5 minutes, no moving. Let's give it a shot, guys. Are you ready? Here we go. Just a reminder to not move. Don't scratch that itch. Don't adjust in your seat. Sit on your hands if you have to. We're just working on body stillness. Let the mind run if it wants to run. Maintain good posture as you do this, sitting up with a straight back. And while you're sitting there, not moving, just start to notice what's going on in your head. Don't change it, but just make mental notes. Is your mind running, or is it still? Is it quiet? Is it thinking down rabbit holes, going down deep trains of thought, or is it kind of sporadically jumping around? What's the topic? Are you thinking about work? Is your mind thinking about relationships, your family? Is it thinking about what you had for breakfast? As you sit here and keep your body still, you can start to see what your mind is actually doing and recognize that you are not your mind. Your mind has a mind of its own. And you just watch it, you just observe it. It's the next step of the Mindworx process that we start to interact with our minds. But for now, we just stay still. Keep the body still. Let the mind do what the mind's going to do. Go ahead and open your eyes. Well done. You made it through first 5. Did you move? If this was a challenge for you, you have a lot to gain. You have so much to gain by getting good at this skill and the rest of the Mindworx process. If this was easy for you, great. You already have some control over your body and your ability to keep still. Just check on what your mind was doing. If your mind was running and you can feel that there was some noise, you have a lot to gain from the Mindworx process, from removing the noise in your head. If your body's loud, your mind is likely loud as well. This is the first step in building the mind-body connection, as we talked about. We'll start removing the noise, removing what causes the noise in the first place. It's a life-changing process. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you choose to work with me in learning the Mindworx process and how you can apply Mindworx to your daily life to change your thoughts, change the way you feel, and get back connected with your intuition. I'll see you on the inside.